My bikes has no chain for the last 5 years. Instead has a belt. In this video, I will tell you why belt is better than chain. I've been bicycle touring and bikepacking around the world for 15 years. And around 10 years of these 15 years, I've been using chain. And for the last 5 years, I've been using belt drivetrain. In this video, I'm going to deep dive into differences between belt drivetrain and chain in 9 different topics. I have tested both of these systems in some of the extreme conditions possible in this earth, in my opinion. I have crossed the Sahara, I have cycled in the Arctic during winter, I don't know, in autumn, in the forest, whatever you can imagine or you cannot imagine, I have done, I think. So I have a little bit of idea of what I talk about, and I don't just sit behind the laptop and research and put up a video for you together. And in this video, when I talk about belt, I am referring to the Gates CDX carbon belt. It is the one and the only one I've been testing. Also, to be clear, this video is not sponsored by anyone and it's totally independent. But please note, my bicycles are sponsored by Velodrome, but I was totally free to choose between the belt drivetrain or chain drivetrain for my bikes. And at the end of the video, I will talk about the rumors of belt breaking down, which has been circulating on the internet recently. First thing, maintenance. You might heard this. Belt is maintenance free. This is something when you go and buy a bike with the belt drivetrain is being advertised a lot. Well, yes, in some way it's true. Belt needs a very less maintenance compared to the chain drivetrain. Chain drivetrain has a metal to metal contact, so you need to put the oil over there and you need to clean it more often compared to the belt. But this is not true, which they say belt is totally maintenance free. No, that's not. It's not maintenance free. Especially in a desert and in a dry and sandy conditions, belt does squeak. And that really can like a ski on your nerve. But there's a solution for that. You can actually wash the belt and then you can put a little bit of liquid soap over there. That helps a lot for a while and then you need to repeat it. And that's about that. Gates itself recommends their silicone spray. That works well, but the reality is it's very difficult to find the silicone spray when you are in Africa, and it's quite annoying to carry it. Sometimes it's annoying to take it to the airplane, so it's not so practical. Universal Transmission have developed this spray which is specifically designed for the belt, but I haven't tested this, so I cannot comment on it. Number 2, longevity. Yeah, indeed, belt lasts longer compared to the chain. That is true. I would say maybe twice than chain. With the chain, when I have a 3 chain ring in front and 10 in the back, I can cycle around 8 to 10,000 kilometers depending on the situation, and I usually use 2 chains, so each 1,000 kilometers I swap the chain. But with the belt, I can go 20,000 and in some cases more than 20,000. But some people, they claim, I don't know, it is 4 times. I think that's not true. But yeah, definitely it lasts longer than chain. But here comes very interesting point. Of course, the belt need a straight line. So when I compare, I tell it lasts twice or a little bit more than twice compared to the chain. I am comparing with the derailleur system, but I am not comparing it to the straight chain. This means if you have it in your bicycle
single speed system, or if you have a Pinion gearbox or Rohloff, so you can use a straight line. In that case, of course, that chain lasts much longer compared to the chain which is being used with a derailleur. So this is a very actually interesting point. In this case, I would say steel belt lasts longer
compared to the chain which has been used in a straight line drivetrain.
But the differences will be a little bit small with this chain. If you ask me, would I use a belt or a chain on my bicycle which has a Pinion gearbox, I would go with belt. Third, efficiency. Well, yeah, this is another interesting point. When you are bikepacking and you are bicycle touring, I think it's not really so much relevant, to be honest. So the belt is a little bit less efficient compared to the chain. This means how much power you put on the pedal and how much you go forward with the belt would be just a little bit less compared to the chain.
But wait. Compared to which chain? Compared to the chain which is totally lubed and cleaned and it's new. This means there's a point when chain gets a little bit older, then belt crosses over and becomes more efficient than chain. But where is that point? Different people, different tests have a different opinion. But also this difference is very, very small.
If you race, it matters. But if you are not racing, it doesn't matter, in my opinion.
So don't worry about it too much. Enjoy off your ride, have a 1 cup of coffee, or in a nice warm day, have a 1 glass of beer. You will forget about it.
Fourth, need for a special frame. Yes, indeed, if you have a belt, you need to have a specific frame made for a belt. This means rear triangle needs to be really stiff. This is really important. If your rear triangle is not stiff and the bike flexes side by side,
pardon me, by side, I mean actually side to side. I don't mean hand to hand. Well, happens.
In that way, your belt will break down because this belt has a carbon cord inside of it. And these carbon cords are meant to stand the pressure in this way. But if you twist it, it will break. So the bike cannot twist side by side really, especially in a rear triangle. This is why the frame, which is meant to be used with the belt, need to be really stiff. But you don't have this need with the chain because chain can flex side by side and it's not a problem. And the second thing is you need the belt splitter point on your frame. Now with my Velotron Speedster, this point is over here and actually it is very solid and it's really well made. And I want to emphasize here, when you buy your bike with the belt, make sure this splitting point is well designed, because if it's not well designed, it can create an issue. Fifth, using e-bike. Actually, I think belt is a very good option for e-bike because it can stand the force really well, and also it lasts longer, it needs less maintenance. In my opinion, it's a very good choice for an e-bike. But in some countries, for example like Finland, in winter when it snows, they put a lot of sand and salt, mixture of these two, on the road. So when that sand goes on a belt and when you pedal, if that sand penetrates basically inside the belt, can break those carbon cords which they are going around the belt, and because of that, belt can break. That has been a little bit of issue in North with the e-bikes which are equipped with the belt in old days. But for the last 2 or 3 years, Gates have came with a new design for their sprockets, which is basically has a fin and doesn't have so much surface.
In fin design of sprocket, there is a less chance of stones being pushed into the belt by sprocket. Also, dirt and sand can drop off from belt easier while cycling in those muddy and rainy days.
That has been a great update and more or less have solved this issue. Chain, of course, also works with the e-bike and it's not problem, but just it will last less compared to the belt.
And will need more cleaning.
6, weight. This is a topic, if you are really counting the grams in your bikepacking trip, you might consider like a normal chain in average will weigh around 250 grams, but the belt weighs around 90, 80 grams, depending on how long is your belt. So yeah, it's much lighter. I would say around 150 grams lighter compared to the chain. 7, finding a spare part. Yeah, indeed, it's very difficult to find the spare parts for belt. If you are like in Africa, you won't be able to find it, you need to ship it. Even here in Spain, if I go to the regular bicycle shop and ask for a belt, they don't have it. But when I need the belt, I need it if I break it down. Does belt really break down? In my opinion, no. But I will talk about this topic at the end of the video. So it's not an issue for me, the availability of the spare part, but I always carry one spare belt with myself just in case. 8, the feeling of cycling with the belt compared to the chain. Well, belt is really soft and it's really quiet compared to chain, and I really like these. Even sometimes when I cycle in a nature, when there's wildlife, with the belt, sometimes the animals, they don't even notice me, so I can see them from pretty close distance. In some cases it can be good, but in some cases not. But yeah, I really like the belt because it's really quiet compared to chain.
9,
durability. This is an important topic because here I will talk about the fact, does really belt breaks down or not? No, belt won't break down
if it's not being misused.
So if somebody claims I put a lot of force on uphills, so the belt can't stand the force I put on my bike, that is not true.
The reason for braking is not cycling, regardless of how much force you put on the pedal or how much weight you have on the bike. The reason is misusing the belt. Now I give you 3 reasons which can cause the belt to snap.
First of all, as I mentioned before, if your bike frame is not well designed for the belt and you are putting a lot of pressure on uphills, then your rear triangle will flex sideways, will break the carbon cords inside the belt, then belt can break down.
So the cause of this snapping is actually not belt itself, it is the poor design of your bike, and you need to talk with your bike's manufacturer why they have designed such a bike. For example, in this video I am having 130 kilogram of weight on my Velotron finder.
Then I had a trailer. On the trailer I had maybe around 30 kilograms. I carried this with my Velotron finder, which had a belt drivetrain, and I haven't had any issue. I have done so many crazy things with the belt drivetrain, I never had an issue. So the force cannot break it. The second reason which can break down the belt is if you do not handle the belt very well. This means when you carry your belt, you put it in a way the belt twists in a wrong way or gets squeezed and smashed in your panniers, then that can also be an issue, because again you are putting a force on those carbon cords in a wrong way. So I recommend to carry the belt actually inside the cooking pot. That place is really safe and it can't come any force to the belt, so it's pretty safe place to carry the belt. I put it inside this bag and then inside the pod.
Ooh, yeah.
Damn it, I forgot to wash it. So yeah, you need to make sure your pot is clean also. Now it's better, it's clean. And on top of it, I put some spices or sometimes ginger. That's it. Another reason can break the belt if the sands and the small stones stays between sprocket and belt, and when sprocket while turning, it pushes those sands inside your belt. Then those stones, when they go inside the belt, they can cut the carbon cords and that can cause the belt to snap. But as I mentioned before, Gates has been updated the design of their sprockets. So these new sprockets really can't push the stones inside the belt like old ones. But another tip here, if you are cycling with the belt and you end up in a situation with you have this peanut butter style of mud which goes all around the bicycle, well, basically you shouldn't cycle in that kind of situation because you end up pushing your bicycle, you really cannot go forward. But anyway, any reason, if you want to cycle, I would say make your belt tension slightly higher. So when the belt tension is higher during this time, this helps the belt to clean itself basically. But after you're done with this muddy section, you need to bring back your belt tension to the correct tension.
Because if your belt tension is higher than the tension which is recommended by Gates, this can wear out your bottom brackets bearing or your rear hubs bearing prematurely.
But myself, I never broke any belt or any chain during last 15 years of bikepacking, and I think I push the bikes quite harshly, and I cycle sometimes on asphalt and sometimes on really crazy off-roads with the heavy load. But yeah, I haven't had any issue with any of these systems. So conclusion, I do prefer belt because in my opinion has a less maintenance compared to the chain. It lasts longer and it is really durable and it's pretty quiet. I like it. But this doesn't mean the chain is not going to work after belt came out. No, the chain still works and people they ride it, and if you like it, you like it. But yeah, I think belt is indeed superior. But also, of course, you need the internal gearbox system. Like what I have here on my Velotron Speedster, which is a Pinion C112 gearbox. Beside all of these, like always I say on most of my videos, the bicycle you have in your garage, it is the best bike and it has the best drivetrain. So go out, relax and enjoy of nature and enjoy of cycling. But if you want to invest some money and buy a new bike, then in NomadsTrails channel you will find a lot of useful information. Cheers and see you in the next one. Bye for now.